Hello everyone and welcome to a Readathon wrap-up. This one is for Spring into Readingathon. This was hosted by Melanie from Completely Melanie, and there were two co-hosts. We had Amy from A Star Reads and Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse. I will link all of their information in the description box. So there was kind of like a bingo board, so it was like a 5x5. I did not get a blackout, but I did get a couple of bingos. I got at least 3 bingos from this little sketch that I did. So let's go ahead and get into the prompts and what books I used for the prompts. Prompt number 1 is Spring Cleaning. This is to read a book that has been collecting dust on your TBR. For this one, I went with The Night Swim by Megan Goldin. This I got from Book of the Month, August of 2020. So the reason why I say it's been collecting dust is because I just have collected quite a few of the Book of the Month books and have yet to even get to them. So yep, it's been collecting dust. This is an adult mystery thriller type of a situation. Third person, we're following Rachel. So it's a third person perspective. We also have, and she is a podcast host that her podcast looks at true crime stuff. She goes to this small town and is following this case as it is ongoing of this man who is accused of rape. This town is divided because it's like he needs to be innocent until proven guilty, but yet other people are saying you have to believe the girl that says that she was raped and believe all women type of a situation. And so it's like, where's the line? How do we balance things out? So it goes through that while the trial is ongoing. Rachel gets at times you're getting snippets from the podcast. Along the way during this trial, Rachel starts getting these letters from someone named Hannah. That when you're in Hannah's perspective, it is told in first person, and Hannah is talking about the murder of her sister and wants help basically solving the murder of her sister. And so you're unfolding the events from her sister's death and all of that to figure out who did it. So yes, I enjoyed this. 4 stars, 341 pages. Prompt number 2 was New Beginnings. This is to read the book that is first in the series. For this one, I'm saying it counts. Here's the thing. When I look at it, it says it's the prequel, so it's book number 0 or 0.5 in the series. However, other places that I look says it's book 1. So I am counting this as the first book in the series, even though it was technically the prequel, but other places say it's book 1, so I think it may have changed to where this is, I think there's 4 books in the series now. But, so I'm counting this one. This is Ways to Be Me by Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott. This was the March selection for Autism Reads, which is a read-along that I host where we read a book every month by an author who is autistic. March was a middle grade, and this was the selection. The series is called Tally, and in this one she is in year 6. This takes place not in the United States, so I'm not sure exactly what grade year 6 is when it's converted over to US. I don't know. But at this point, Tally is basically masking, except they don't know that's what it's called. She is saying she likes stuff when she doesn't, saying she's having a good time when she's not. And then when she goes home, she has these huge meltdowns, things like that. Her parents are trying to figure out what's going on with her to help her cope and manage her feelings. They find out that Tally, their daughter, is possibly autistic, and they bring that up with her. And Tally, you're going along with Tally as she tries to figure out what that means for her. There is a classmate in her class who is autistic, and she doesn't see herself anywhere near what he is like. And so she's also figuring out that the term autism doesn't mean the same thing for every person. So this is what this is. 4 stars, 287 pages. Prompt number 3 is Wet T-Shirt Contest. This is to read a smutty book. For this one, I did an ebook and I read Halloween Trip by Samantha Sapphire. This is a monster smut romance. I don't remember the monster. Every book I have read has been a different monster. There's been gargoyles, the Grim Reaper, demons, vampires. So each book is a different monster. And the monster is always the male, at least so far in all the ones that I've read, which I've read like 7 of them. And they're all little short stories or novellas. This one was 53 pages. I ended up giving it 4 stars. And they're just fun, smutty books. So, and it's just a romance between a human female and a monster male. There's been one that I've read where it's been 2 males and 1 female. So a reverse harem situation. And so yeah, that's basically what these books are. They're just smutty funness. So not much to say. And they all take place around Halloween. It's in the A Monstrous Mistake collection. They all follow the same premise. It's a romance between a human female and a monster male. All takes place. It generally starts on Halloween during the day, and then there's usually a party or something, and then it can go into either the next day or shortly thereafter. So yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Okay, prompt number 4 is road trip. This is to listen to an audiobook. For this one, I physically read and listened to the audiobook Maeve Fly. So I'm counting it because I did listen along while I read along. This is written by C.J. Leede. This is a debut book from this author. This is an adult horror. It went there with the atmosphere, serial killer, dark thoughts, gore, BDSM. There is open door sex. There's plenty of gore. There is an animal that is sick in this, so do be aware of that. I gave this 5 stars, and it's 271 pages. We're following Maeve. She works at kind of like Disneyland, except it's called something else in this book, but it is in California, and she plays the character Elsa, basically. The Disney Ice Princess is what it's referred to, but we know it as Elsa. And that's her during the day, and at night things get pretty dang dark. So, and I'm going to leave it at that because I want you to find all the goodness if you like the gore. So 5 stars, 271 pages. Prompt number 5 is Let It Shine, and this is to read a cozy book or a book that you think will make you happy. I'm going with an ebook for this one, and I read The No Girlfriend Rule. It's a young adult romance. Those tend to make me happy, so I thought this will make me happy, and that it did. This was written by Kristen Randall, and this is a debut by this author. And think D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, except it's called S&S, like Sorcery and Swords or something like that. So it's basically D&D. The main character, you do have plus size rep, you have LGBT rep, trans is included in that, as well as, I think, was it Pan or Ace? I don't remember which one, but there's a couple of different LGBT terms in there. And you also have like homophobia, transphobia, and sexism and stuff like that. The main female character, who is plus size, has a boyfriend. He is part of this SNS group, except she can't join them because of the no girlfriend rule. So she's trying to find a group. She finds this all-female group, joins them, and friendships and love bloom. So I'm going to leave it at that. It was a very sweet book. Prompt number 6 is Stormy Weather. This is to read a book that intimidates you. I'm going with Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. This I gave 4 stars. The No Girlfriend Rule was 4 stars, 323 pages. This was another 4 star. This was exactly 300 pages. The reason this intimidates me is when there's a lot of talk about like slavery and racism, that tends to intimidate me because I don't know how rough and deep and everything, and it's not a great topic. It's something we need to know so that we don't repeat things like that. So it's good to learn it so that we don't repeat it, but it's still an uncomfortable read. It always intimidates me, reading about people being enslaved and about people being treated differently because of how they look. That topic always intimidates me, and as long as it's handled and written well, then it can be a good book. This was a good book. 4 stars, 300 pages. We're following several generations. This starts off in Ghana, Africa. The white man arrives from England and the slave trade starts. And then a couple of generations later, it's slavery. And then it's just and you have racism throughout the whole thing. But then slavery is abolished, the slave trade is ended, and then you're dealing with just the racism. Not happy topics, but this one is definitely an important read, and I think this should be a required read in schools. I don't know if it is at this point. This book did not exist when I was in school, but I think at this point, this definitely, yeah, copyright 2016, so this was definitely well after I graduated. But I think this is definitely something that should be a required read in high school. I think it was that important of a read, so yeah. All right, prompt number 7 is Spring Fashion, and this is to read a book that has a beautiful cover. I think this cover is beautiful. I like the simplicity, and I'm going with Binding 13. I just love the simplicity, plus I like the colors on this. I don't know, I just really like this cover. I gave this 4 stars. It was 603 pages. This is a young adult romance. It is rough on the language, so do not be fooled with this being a young adult. It is very rough, as well as the topic. We have a lot of bullying and domestic and child abuse as far as physical and emotional and things like that. So this is a very dark read, but I enjoyed my time reading it. I thought it was well written and takes place in Ireland. Rugby, this is a sports romance, and the sport is rugby, and the main male lead is the rugby captain. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. So I liked this book. And it's the start of the Boys of Tommen series. Prompt number 8 is to rewind. This is to read, the prompt is a past season-a-thon group book or author. For this one, I'm going with a past group book, which was Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kristen Simmons. This is a young adult horror. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 255 pages. There's Japanese folklore in this, and it's kind of like a portal because these group of teenagers go to this cave and they basically enter or fall through this portal, and they're trying to find their friend that's been missing for years to hopefully maybe save their friend. And now they're in this world where they have to basically defeat these tasks, and it just goes from there. I'm going to leave it at that. So, okay. Prompt number 9 is April Showers. This is to read a book that you think will make you sad or cry. I did not complete that prompt. Number 10, Luck of the Irish. This is to read a book with a green cover. For this one, I'm going with Lovesickness by Junji Ito. This is a horror manga. There's 4, I think there's 4, maybe 5, but this is a collection of short horror stories, all in manga format. The main one we're following, this takes place in Japan. These kids go towards this crossroads where 2 streets intersect, and the first person that comes along, they ask, can you please tell me my fortune? The boy in black comes along and basically tells them not good things, to the point that a lot of teenage girls unalive themselves. So we'll leave it that. The other short stories on this are shorter than this one. The Lovesickness one is the main one in this. So, but I had a good time with this one. I gave it 4 stars overall and it was 402 pages. Prompt number 11 is self-care. This is to take a day for yourself. I generally do that every Sunday. I just relax and do whatever the heck I want because there's no appointments on Sundays. Because all the doctor's offices and other things are closed. So, number 12 is Prom Queen. This is to read a popular book. So for this one, I'm going with one that was popular for a while. I don't hear it talked about quite so much, but I'm going with an ebook graphic novel, and it is Demon in the Woods by Leigh Bardugo. I prefer Leigh Bardugo's standard novel formats. This one was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was 201 pages, and it's basically the life of the Darkling before we knew him in the Grishaverse trilogy as the Darkling. I would have liked to have seen this, I think, in a standard novel format. The graphic novel was fine. The art was good. But I didn't get the amount of Leigh Bardugo's writing that I would have wanted in her standard novel format. So, not really for me, but it was fine. Number 13 is to read the group book, Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I did not get to this. I hope to get to it soon, but for some reason, there's something about this book that just intimidates me, and I just did not pick it up. So, yep, did not get to it. Number 14 is Spring Forward. This is to read the next book in a series. I am going with Dawn and the Impossible 3. This is book number 5 in the graphic novel edition of the Babysitters Club, which was originally written by Anne M. Martin. The art in this is by Gail Galligan. So, 3 stars, 148 pages, and it's just this group of friends that get together. They're in junior high, and they form a Babysitters Club and go around babysitting for families in the neighborhood. Prompt number 15 is Love is in the Air. This is to read a romance or a book that is centered around friendship. I'm going with a romance. I went with Icebound by Meredith Trapp. This is book number 1 in the Boundless Players book. This is a hockey romance. It is very smutty, so please be aware of that. The main male character likes to cross-stitch. He is the goalie and I don't know if he's the captain, but he's definitely the goalie of the hockey team in Tennessee, and he's on the cusp of should he retire because he's now in his 30s, should he retire or renew his contract for another year and keep playing. The main female lead is in her 20s, so you have about a 10-year age gap, maybe 11, but definitely a 10-year age gap. She goes to art school, and then they think they're doing this kind of a fake dating type situation, so yeah. Just standard romance. I gave this 4 stars, 364 pages, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Prompt number 16 is Over the Rainbow. This is to read a classic or a retelling. I did not get to this prompt. Prompt number 17 is Spring Break. This is to read a book with a beach setting. For this one, I'm going with Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Pelt. This is a debut by this author. Read a couple of debuts this month. Very cool. 4 stars, 355 pages. We have 4 different point of views. The first person point of view is told in diary format from Marcellus, who is an octopus in this aquarium. This takes place in Washington, in a small town where the beach is really not far. There's this one POV that we're following, which is told in third person, meets a woman and they go surfing at times. So very close to the beach and things like that. And one POV we're following is Tova, who is the female here. She's at the cusp of her life where her brother is now deceased, her husband is deceased, her son died when he was 18, like 30 years ago. And yeah, so she's just at the point of what is she going to do with her life now? Is she going to move into a retirement facility, senior living type situation, or what? The main male POV that I mentioned earlier, he's on the hunt for his biological father. His mother is a drug addict. He doesn't know where she is, if she's alive or dead. And then again, Marcellus, who is the first person, who is the octopus, diary format, and it talks about his days of captivity. So day 1,300 of captivity, and then he talks about what his life is like. So this was good. Again, 4 stars, 355 pages. Prompt number 18 is to refresh your TBR. This is to get yourself a new book. That was easy peasy, so no need to worry about that. I definitely did. Number 19 is Friendship Bracelets. This is to read a friend pick. I went with my friend Amy from A-Star Reads. She was one of the co-hosts for this. She recommended or picked The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I did not get to this book. I ran out of time. Hopefully soon I will continue to count this as a friend pick, as there are other year-long readathons I'm participating in where the prompt is a friend pick. So I will still use The Graveyard Book for a readathon, just not for this one. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. Number 20 is Women's March. This is to read a book with a strong female protagonist. For this one, I'm going with Halloween Guardian, another smutty monster romance from a Monstrous Mistake collection. This one was written by Juniper Kerry. 4 stars. And this was 77 pages. And again, it's just a monster smut romance. And the females are always strong in this. So, strong, independent women who finds love is basically what these are. So, prompt number 21 is Flower Power. This is to read a book with flowers on the cover. I'm going with the cozy mystery, Tailing a Tabby by Laurie Cass. This is book number 2 in the Cozy Mystery series titled A Bookish Cat Mystery. As far as the flowers on the cover, there are 2 flower pots right here and right there. So definitely has flowers on the cover. It's your standard Cozy Mystery. The main female, or the main character in this is Minnie. She runs the bookmobile. She works for the town library. It's a small town. There's this dead body. The person that is being accused of the murder, she doesn't think did it, and so she inserts herself into the investigation to try to clear her friend's name, and basically puts her life in danger, and it goes from there. There is no gore, there is no sex, and there is no vulgar language. So these are very clean. So if you don't like any of that rough stuff, Cozy Mystery is going to be more your vibe. So I enjoyed this one. 5 stars. Absolutely had a great time with this one. 340 pages. And I love that this is a book about where there are a lot of books and books are talked about. Eddie is the animal companion in this, and the goal for this is to get people who are, like, you have this small town, but then there are people who live farther away from the small town, and so they go to do their grocery shopping or whatever, but they may not have a library card to be able to go to the library, so Minnie takes the library to them in the bookmobile. So I love that. Prompt number 22 is to read like an Aries. This is to read a book that is under 250 pages. I went with an ebook on this one, and I read Strega by Johanne like Home. It was 198 pages, not really for me. I gave this one 2 stars. It's classified as a horror on Goodreads, at least when I looked it up. I don't know if it's still a horror or if it's changed. I think it's more literary fiction, but a dark literary fiction. This gal goes to this place where only women go. One of her friends there goes missing, and she gets together with one of her friends, and they try to find this friend that has gone missing. And that's basically what it is. Prompt number 23, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. This is to read a book where the title of the book matches the title of a song title or a lyric. I did not get to this one. That's going to take really some focus in me digging on that, because I have nothing comes to my mind and I don't know. I'm going to have to really do some digging on that. Prompt number 24 was Spring Court. This is to read a book with royalty. I did not get to this one. And finally, the last prompt, number 25, Tiny Umbrellas. This is to drink your favorite iced beverage. My favorite iced beverage is a Diet Coke. Specifically, a Diet Coke from McDonald's, and like their large one. So, I don't get it very often, but it's my favorite iced beverage. So, yeah, I did that. Easy peasy. So, for this particular readathon, I read 4,518 pages. And I finished these books all within about 30 days. There's another book that I read that I started the last day of the month. But for these all books, I finished either on the 30th or shortly before the 30th. But I'm just counting 30 days. So 30 days into that, that means I read 150.6 pages a day. I gave 1 book 2 stars, 2 books 3 stars, 11 books 4 stars, and 2 books 5 stars. That's 62 stars issued, 16 books read. That means each book got an average of 3.875 stars. So let me know, did you participate in the Spring Into Reading? I'm saying the title wrong. Spring Into Readingathon. Did you participate? And I hope you had a good time if you did. What was your favorite read for the month? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.